Okay, today is lesson 7.2. You should be on page 295 of your worksheet pages. We're going to multiply fractions and whole numbers, which we did yesterday. What two methods did we use yesterday? What manipulatives did we use? Our counters, and what did we draw?
Arrays.
An array. Okay, we put some X's in an array. Okay, today we're going to use our fraction strips. It says Martin is planting a vegetable garden. Each row is 2 meters long. He wants to plant carrots along 3/4 of each row. How many meters of each row will he plant with carrots? So we're going to multiply 3/4 times 2. 2 one-whole fraction strips placed side by side represent the length of the garden, which is what you should have in front of you. Drag 4 fraction strips, all with the same denominator, so they fit exactly under the 2 whole number. So what fraction strip I could use that I would get 4 of them? Say it again.
1/2.
1/2. Okay, so they want you to put 4 1/2. So you're going to have to get into both your fraction bags and get out the halves. Just remember where they go. Okay, circle 3/4 of 2 on your model. So how many of those 1/2 fraction strips are we going to circle? We have 4, that's the denominator of our fraction, and we need to circle 3 of them. So maybe you could just move one of your 1/2s away a little bit so you can see that that's 3/4. Okay. Complete the number sentence. 3/4 times 2 is what? How many halves do we have? 1. 3 halves, or what would that be as a mixed number?
1 and 1/2.
1 and 1/2. 2 will divide into 3 one time. We would have a remainder of 1, and we would put that over our 2. Okay? So Martin will plant carrots along 3/2 or 1 and 1/2 meters of each row. Okay, that's what you should have written to fill in your blanks. Okay, now we're going to go to the draw conclusion toward the bottom of page 295, and it's going to ask us some questions. And the first one is to explain why you place 4 fraction strips with the same denominator under your 2 whole. Remember, we had our 2 whole strips, and we found a fraction strip, other fraction strips that we could place 4. Why did we want to place 4 of them under there?
Because that was the denominator of our fraction.
Right. We were wanting to find 3/4 of that whole length. So we wanted to find something that would match that denominator. So let's put that in words. Okay, so here's what we might write as a sentence. I wanted to divide the entire length of the 2 whole fraction strips. So this length of the 2 whole fraction strips into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, 4 pieces, and the 4 1/2 fraction strips did that. Explain how you would model 3/10 of 2. How would we go about doing that? What would we put under there? What would we start with?
10 equal pieces.
What would we have? Well, we'd have to start with what first?
3/10.
Our first are
1 whole.
our 1 wholes, right? And then because we want to do tenths, we would then
Put as many tenths as
we'd have to put 10 tenths under here. Let me get that one even, but these then would be 1/10, all of them. Okay, so then what would we do?
Circle
That's only
3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, I need one more.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one way to do it, is to circle 3. Okay, now do we really have 10 parts there?
No.
No, so what can we put under there that would give us 10 parts?
20.
Well, we have
Fifths.
20 parts now.
Fifths.
So we would have to do fifths. Well, that could be fun. And how many fifths would I have?
2.
10, right? There we go. So now, so tenths really wouldn't work, would they? Although it sounded good, that was 1/10 of 1 whole, not 1/10 of 2 wholes. Okay? So then what would we do?
Circle
How many of those would I circle?
3.
Right, 3 of these, because that would be, let me get a different color here. That would be 3 out of our 10 parts. That makes sense? We have our 2, we divided it into 10 parts, and we want to circle 3 of those. It's a little harder when you're thinking of this as your whole instead of just one fraction strip as your whole. So let's work on putting that into words. Okay, so here's what we did in words. I would show 2 wholes and then place 10 1/5 fraction strips under the 2 wholes to show 10 parts. So we have our red ones, and then we placed our orange 1/5 under there till we had enough that would cover the same length as the 2 wholes. Then I can draw my model and circle 3/10 of 2, which is 3/5. All right, should be at the top of page 296. We're going to make a connection here. Let's see what our story is, or our words of wisdom. On the previous page, you multiplied a whole number by a fraction, right? We had 1, or we had 2, and we multiplied it by 3/4, and we multiplied it by 3/10. Okay? You can also use a model to multiply a fraction by a whole number. Margot was helping clean up after a class party. There were 3 boxes remaining with pizza in them. Each box had 3/8 of a pizza left. How much pizza was left in all? Now you're pretty lucky on your paper. They divided your little fraction, or your little pies, are ready for you. And what do I want them in?
8.
Your little pizza pies here. So I'll try and do that without taking too much time, without them being too uneven. If I were eating that one, I'd want one of those. I want one of those pieces. Oh no. And what did it tell us? That there was 3/8 in each pizza.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in and I'm going to color in 3 of these 8s.
Do we do it?
I think you probably should.
We circled 4.
Huh?
We circled 4.
Oh, I did. I'll have to go back and erase that one. Okay. So we did 3/8 of our pieces. It says find 3 times 3/8. Model 3 1-whole fraction circles to represent the number of boxes of pizza. Place 1/8 fraction circle pieces on each circle to represent the amount of pizza that was left in each box. Shade the fraction circles to show your model, which we did. Step 2. The 1/8 fraction circle pieces on each piece represent the amount of pizza that was left in each box. Shade the fraction circle pieces to show how much pizza was left in each box. Each circle shows 3/8 of a whole. The 3 circles show how many 8s? 3, 6, 9. 8 of a whole. Step 3, complete the number sentence. So 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8 is
9/8.
9/8.
Or 1 and 1.
Or 1 and 1/8. If we divide 9 by 8, we get 1 whole. We have 1/8 left over. So 3 times 3/8 is 9/8 or 1 and 1/8. So Margot had 1 and 1/8 boxes of pizza left. Okay, so we're on page 297 at the top of the share and show, and we're going to use the model to find the product. 5/6 of 3. So in this one we have 3 1-wholes, and to get our 6 pieces we would use halves again. How many halves did we circle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of
6.
So we circled 5/6. So, or 5 halves, which if we made that into a mixed number, how many 2s in 5?
2.
And what would we have left over? 1, right? Half. So 2 and 1/2. This is number 2 on the share and show. 2 times 5/6. So we had 2 circles. We divided them into 6. We have 5/6 so in each one. So how many 6 do we have all together?
10, 6.
10, 6, or how many 6s in 10?
1
And 10 minus 6 is
1
4, 6, or 1 and 2/3, right? If you simplify 4/6. Or you can multiply this, put your 3 over 1, and 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 12 is 12. 12 goes into 15 once. You have 3/12 left over. If you simplify that, 3 goes into 3 once, and into 4 12 times.